So LeBron James is going to be on the Pat McAfee Show, and this kind of escalates the Stephen A. Smith beef with LeBron and Pat McAfee. As we all know, like LeBron does not like Stephen A. because Stephen A. criticized Bronny, even though Bronny is an NBA player and should be criticized if he's playing bad. But Bronny has, he had a breakout game with the Lakers recently, and he had a big game with the G League. So if he continues that consistency, everybody will be praising him. But, Bronny was playing bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people, but he was playing bad, but he's playing more consistent now. We'll see with the Lakers if that consistency continues, if he has more playing time. Okay. So here's the thing. Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith don't get along. Once upon a time, Pat McAfee, after he signed his deal with ESPN, which I still think he's overpaid, Pat McAfee used to pop up on First Take like once a week, a couple times a week. So I guess Stephen A. Smith has this production company. Pat McAfee was supposed to be involved in a project that Stephen A. was working on, and there was some creative differences, and it got into a shouting match, and Pat called Stephen A. an MFer, allegedly. And in turn, Stephen A. has banned Pat McAfee from First Take. I guess he banned him. Oh, man. So I'm not a huge Pat McAfee fan. So Pat McAfee signed a 5-year deal, I think, with ESPN for like $85 million. And he makes $17 million a year. Now, listen, I respect Pat McAfee's hustle. Like, he was a punter for the Colts on those Peyton Manning teams. And most people always hate, they say they hate punters unless they're part of the game. But he worked his way up, and he started a podcast, became a very popular podcast. ESPN brought him in, and now he's making almost as much as Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith is like the top paid person at ESPN. But $17 million, that's a lot. Now, of course, he also does College Game Day and all that stuff. But Pat and Stephen A. doesn't like that. They do not like each other. And LeBron knows this. So LeBron is going to be on Pat McAfee's show today. But here's the thing that I'm saying this to peace and love for my fellow Akronite LeBron James. I understand the pettiness because you're kind of sticking it to Stephen A. by going on Pat McAfee's show, which is on after First Take. I understand the pettiness in that. The thing is, how come Pat McAfee got the call for the interview and not Shannon Sharpe? Shannon Sharpe, for years, has always said LeBron James is the GOAT. I don't agree with Shannon. I still say it's Jordan. It's always going to be Jordan, 6-for-6 in his finals. And again, God bless LeBron. LeBron's going to have like most of the NBA records by the time he retires. But, Jordan's still that dude. However, there's nobody who said LeBron was the GOAT more often than Shannon Sharpe. Maybe Nick Wright on Fox, but outside of that, it's always been Shannon. When he was on Undisputed, there was that episode where he wore the GOAT mask. He's always talking about GOAT James. He's always said and praised LeBron as being the GOAT. So if that's the case, why would you skip over Shannon Sharpe and go to Pat McAfee? Unless it's just pure pettiness. Now, again, maybe there's an interview down the pike with Shannon Sharpe and LeBron James. But to be fair, Shannon Sharpe is in Los Angeles. LeBron could have jumped on Club Shay Shay long time ago, especially like last year, like after the Cat Williams stuff. LeBron could have jumped on Club Shay Shay and just had a conversation. But here's the thing. And I think there's two reasons why LeBron went on Pat's show. One, he knew it would get under Stephen A. Smith's skin. But he also knows that Pat McAfee really doesn't ask tough questions. Pat McAfee is not a tough interviewer at all. That's why Aaron Rodgers is always on there. Because Aaron Rodgers doesn't do too many interviews. I think he does it with like Dan Le Batard. And Dan sometimes asks him some tough questions. But Pat doesn't ask any tough questions. That's why Aaron's on there all the time. And I think LeBron, knowing that, that's why he went on Pat's show. Or about to be on Pat's show. Now, Shannon, I'm sure 98% of the questions that he asked LeBron are going to be softball questions and or very appealing. Well, I don't say that much. Maybe 80% of the questions that Shannon Sharpe is going to ask is probably softball questions. But Shannon got those stack of cards, and he has 3 hours to fill. So I'm sure there's going to be some tough questions that Shannon probably would have asked LeBron within a 3-hour interview. But I don't think LeBron wanted that. That's the only reason why I think he wouldn't go on Shannon's show is that Shannon will ask you a few tough questions. Not a lot, but a few. And maybe LeBron don't want to be asked tough questions. And that's why he's going on Pat. I don't know. I don't know. But I think it's wrong. Like, I get it that Shannon is on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. But Shannon and Stephen A., they just disagree all the time. Shannon is always defending LeBron for the most part on First Take. Sometimes he criticizes LeBron. For the most part, though, he's always defending LeBron. So, go. Go, James. I think it's wrong. Like, why wouldn't you talk to the dude who defended you the most than just go on a guy? Because I think LeBron's team called Pat McAfee. I don't think Pat McAfee reached out to him. I think LeBron's team reached out to Pat. If I got that wrong, let me know. But no, it was like it'd be totally different if Pat McAfee and LeBron were close, and that's how this interview is. I don't think that's even the case because Pat McAfee is a lot closer to Aaron Rodgers than he is to LeBron James. So LeBron, I'm not disagreeing that LeBron, from a petty standpoint, went to Pat McAfee over Stephen A. Smith. I get that part of it. But to skip over the dude that actually, basically loves you, it's like my man on WWE. Solo, I love you. I love you, LeBron. So no, man, that's wrong. That's wrong. The only way you make this up, if you're LeBron, is go on Club Shay Shay, because I think it's foul that Pat McAfee got that interview over Shannon Sharpe. So before I go, so LeBron said something interesting on the Pat McAfee show. He was talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he said he truly believes that the Greek Freak would have dominated the 1970s, dropping 250 points in a single game. Now, here's the thing, and someone made a good point on this on X. You can't take this Giannis from 2025 and put him in the 1970s. All these players, that's stars, if you take them as is in 2025 and put them in the 1970s, they would have dominated. You can't do that. You got to take that Giannis that was drafted out of Greece that was skinny. You got to strip him of all the stuff that he is now. Because here's the thing. Giannis is a direct line from Giannis to Magic Johnson. Dudes, that height was not handling the ball like Magic Johnson. And so Giannis in a lot of ways, just like LeBron, they're an evolution of Magic Johnson because you're 6'9", 7 foot handling the ball like it's nothing. That's an evolution of Magic Johnson. But that was like, because he learned that from, he was watching, Magic Johnson loved Earl the Pearl Monroe and his style is like Earl the Pearl. But that was just Magic. He was the only guy doing that. So no, you got to strip that ball handling skill from Giannis. And Giannis is a lot bigger now. You got to strip him of that because dudes really didn't start working out until Jordan. Jordan got beaten up so much by Detroit by going into the paint because Jordan was only like 6'6", like 198 or something like that. And they knocked him on the ground so much that he got with Tim Grover and he started working out in the mornings. And that's where the whole Breakfast Club started happening. The other Bulls players joined him where they all started working out. And then from that, so when you hear LeBron James saying like he spends over $1 million on his body, that's straight from Jordan. Nobody was really working out that much. There was a few guys, but not that much, not like Jordan was. Man, back in the 70s, man, they used to smoke, they used to drink. Hell, back in I think in 1973, like with the Yankees, they swapped wives. the 70s was wild. And dudes in all sports, the offseason was the offseason. Dudes didn't get in shape till they went to training camp. That's how that was. So no, we can't take this muscular ball handling Giannis in 2025. No, we got to get that Giannis that was drafted, that was raw in 2013, man. We got to get that Giannis that was tall, but he didn't know what to do yet. So I disagree. Of course, 2025 Giannis, sure, but no, we can't use that. No. You gotta be skinny or flubby like all the rest of them dudes back in the 70s, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to the 70s stars, man. Raw talent. So what do you think about LeBron picking Pat McAfee over Shannon Sharpe? Right or wrong? I get the pettiness over Stephen A, but come on, bro. Shannon loves you.